Ladies and gentlemen, hold on to your seats because today's story is hotter than a July sidewalk in Hollywood.
Breaking news, Justin Baldoni just got a big win, meaning Blake Lively got a big loss.
We're diving headfirst into the swirling scandal that has allegedly pit America's one-time sweetheart Blake Lively against actor-director Justin Baldoni in a courtroom battle for the ages. One that features shocking leaks, jaw-dropping accusations, and a fierce power struggle worthy of the biggest tabloids.
Is it not a little hypocritical? Is this a bad look of her if she's trying to tell the courts that we should stop talking about this in public?
Baldoni teamed up with Wayfarer Studios to adapt the massive bestseller It Ends With Us into what everyone hoped would be a smash hit film. Then along came Blake Lively, rumored to be a perfect fit for the project, until sources claim she started seizing the reins behind the scenes.
Blake Lively is caught in old footage revealing that yes, her secret plan is to always take control of the movies and lie to the directors to get it.
According to insiders, Blake wasn't content to simply read her lines and dazzle the camera with her signature charm. No, she allegedly decided to play director, producer, editor, costume designer, and just about everything in between.
I would show up on a set. I knew that they just wanted me to show up and look cute and stand on a little pink sticker where I'm supposed to go and say what I'm supposed to say.
Reports poured in. Entire scenes were rewritten on the fly, major creative decisions were unilaterally changed, and a host of longtime Wayfarer collaborators found themselves swiftly replaced by Lively's own handpicked team.
But I also knew that that wasn't fulfilling for me, that I wanted to be a part of the storytelling, that I wanted to be a part of the narrative, whether that be in the writing, in the costume design, in creating the character.
Naturally, Justin Baldoni wasn't having it. And that's when a hush-hush production tug-of-war exploded into a full-blown legal nightmare that's now dominating entertainment headlines everywhere.
And sometimes I had directors or producers or writers who would welcome that and invite that once they saw that I was able to offer that. And sometimes I would have people who really resented that because they were like, we just hired you to be an actor.
But buckle up, because this saga isn't just about creative differences. Allegedly, Blake Lively went nuclear in her attempts to take control, going so far as to screen an unauthorized rough cut of the film at a literary event behind the studio's back. The rumor mill says that this brazen move triggered outrage at Wayfarer Studios, who had strict guidelines about unfinished footage never leaving the editing suite. And it gets even wilder. Lively reportedly leaked scathing details to the New York Times, painting Baldoni and the studio as the villains of this piece.
Yet when I went in the meetings, I would just seem like I'm just there to be the actor and ready to get the gig. I wouldn't reveal that I actually need to have authorship in order to fulfill.
But guess what? The plan backfired spectacularly. Instead of garnering the public's sympathy she may have hoped for, the big leaks left fans scratching their heads, wondering whether Lively had manipulated the narrative for her own benefit.
What really happened is we were like, we're going to show the movie, and the studio was like, no, you're going to show 20 minutes. So we're like, no, we're going to show the movie. And they're like, it's not done. And I was like, shoot. They're like, if everything's not perfect and it's not done, and what if we're going to change things? I was like, we want it to go. I literally brought the movie with me on the airplane.
Some said she'd gone rogue, while others thought maybe her attempts at seizing creative control were a heroic stand in a male-dominated industry. Either way, the courts got wind of it. And oh, how the hammer came down.
They want an actress, they hire an actress, they pay you to be an actress. That's your job.
When the legal proceedings began in earnest, Lively's team tried to muzzle Baldoni's firebrand attorney, Brian Friedman, requesting a gag order that would keep his damaging disclosures and sizzling commentary out of public view. But the judge, in a string of decisions that blindsided Lively's camp, denied that gag order request.
He thinks this is okay and proudly displaying us, we're women, so we can just lie and cheat and steal our way in to control these big movies. I mean, how disturbing is this to you?
Overnight, Friedman was free to speak openly and often about Lively's alleged behind-the-scenes antics, from the rewrites and secret screenings to what he calls a strategic, dishonest PR blitz. Ouch.
Breaking news, Justin Baldoni just got a big win, meaning Blake Lively got a big loss. She's on Saturday Night Live with Ryan making jokes, hitting back, I mean, is it not a little hypocritical? Is this a bad look of her if she's trying to tell the courts that we should stop talking about this in public?
Lively's legal team didn't stop there, of course. They attempted to argue that she shouldn't have to participate in depositions, presumably hoping to limit the under-oath grilling about her rumored attempt to stage a hostile takeover of the film. But again, the judge sent her pleas packing. Nope, Ms. Lively, you're scheduled to testify. In other words, every last alleged phone call, every suspicious text message, and every creative demand she made is now fair game. Here's the kicker. Friedman has signaled that he has no intention of going easy on her.
Are you going to sue Blake Lively too?
Into oblivion, Megan.
Particularly since she has spent months, allegedly, fueling negative coverage of Baldoni and Wayfarer in the media.
They changed the communications to remove emojis. Are you blaming the New York Times for doing that?
I'm blaming the New York Times for participating with Blake Lively's publicists, part of facilitating the complaint getting filed with the CRD, which is the Civil Rights Division, and knew the complaint was getting filed, encouraged them to file the complaint, had a copy of the complaint before it was filed, and once it was filed, they went with a story.
Perhaps the biggest twist, though, is how this entire fiasco has dragged in none other than Ryan Reynolds, Lively's superstar husband. Known for his cheeky Twitter presence, comedic flair, and blockbuster hits like Deadpool, Reynolds is apparently not just a charming onlooker, but also an alleged key player. Some insiders suspect Reynolds was uncomfortable with the on-screen chemistry between Baldoni and Lively, especially a dance scene in It Ends With Us that fans claim looked far too similar to the fateful Green Lantern moment where Blake and Ryan's own spark first ignited.
If you look at the full complaint, there are texts between them like that go on and on about their connection and how he really likes her. He loves this version of her, but he loves the other version of her too at 11 o'clock at night. And I'm telling you, it's felt flirty to me. Yeah. I'm like, I don't generally text with other men, even men I work with at 11 o'clock at night, unless there's breaking news. It's my executive producer and I'm like, I need to get on a plane.
Right.
And it's not like how I love this version of you.
While official statements remain scarce, rumor has it that Reynolds quietly backed Lively's pursuit of creative control, aiming to set up future expansions of the story, or possibly to ensure the film was crafted with a precise image that wouldn't ruffle any marital feathers. Skeptical fans on social media are asking, was Ryan Reynolds pulling the puppet strings the entire time? Could his jealousy or protective streak have fueled Lively's legal meltdown? Valid questions indeed. And if you think that's the limit of the weirdness, think again. Cue the arrival of rising star Isabella Ferreira, who played the younger version of Blake's character. According to a Variety piece published earlier this year, Lively cultivated an intensely close relationship with Ferreira, inviting her for sleepovers, showering her with gifts, and seemingly turning her into a loyal ally who would back Lively's every move. Critics allege this wasn't just harmless big sister mentorship, it was an attempt to control Ferreira's testimony and ensure there would be no contradictory accounts of Lively's set behavior once the depositions rolled around. After all, if Ferreira was starstruck and grateful, she might be all too eager to support Lively's side of the story without ever fully considering Baldoni's perspective.
You actually go back and review her initial filing from December 31st or December 20th, also her CRD complaint. She lets us know that it is Isabella Ferrer. It's almost laughable. I mean, look at this point 54 from her original filing.
Whether it was genuine friendship or strategic maneuvering, the optics are undeniably awkward, especially with so many eyes on every piece of evidence and every alleged conversation. The biggest blows to Lively, however, came in swift succession once the judge's rulings started rolling out. She lost the motion to gag Friedman, she lost her attempt to avoid depositions, and, according to multiple insiders, she lost a hefty chunk of Hollywood goodwill in the process. Industry power players don't like unpredictability, certainly not the kind that can derail an entire production, or worse, land studios in the center of a high-profile lawsuit. Anonymous producers have begun whispering to Deadline and The Hollywood Reporter that future deals with Lively are now on pause, with at least one major streaming service rethinking whether to cast her in an upcoming big-budget thriller. All that just a year or two ago would have been unthinkable. Blake Lively was the internet's darling, the radiant star of Gossip Girl fame, and a consistent red carpet stunner known for her social media banter with her equally beloved husband. Seeing her teeter on the edge of a career nosedive is quite Frankly, shocking to fans who admired her seemingly unblemished track record in the industry. Meanwhile, Justin Baldoni's fortunes and reputation have seesawed in the opposite direction. After apparently losing some initial gigs over the swirling accusations, Baldoni scored a headline-grabbing legal victory that showcased all of Lively's possible missteps while reinforcing his stance that he and Wayfarer Studios had been sabotaged by Lively's alleged power grab.
Most of us, especially in Republican politics or the news, this is called Tuesday for us. It's like, grow up. You're in the public eye. You've got probably hundreds of millions thanks to your husband. Just shut up. No one cares that you got a couple of bad articles about you in the Daily Mail.
Friedman's open statements to the press, now unobstructed by any gag order, are painting a picture of a woman who orchestrated a smear campaign the minute she realized her creative demands wouldn't be met. Fans are left grappling with the concept of who's right, who's wrong, or whether the truth, as is often the case, lies somewhere in the murky middle. To add further fuel to the fire, social media sleuths keep dredging up old interviews, where Lively admits to wanting more creative authorship in her roles. Some have argued that these statements prove Lively's ambition is genuine and not malicious, just a woman wanting control over her art in a male-driven industry. Others point to it as evidence of her pattern of stepping over boundaries from the get-go, suggesting she's used to calling the shots when a project piques her interest. Either way, the online debate is rabid. Chambord Team Blake or Der Team Justin? The battle lines are drawn, and the Twitter sphere is in a frenzy. All the while, Ryan Reynolds hovers in the background like a specter, popping up with witty SNL appearances or comedic one-liners that come off a little too flippant to some fans. Some people find it off-putting that he seems to be joking about the scandal, while Lively's legal woes and career prospects hang in the balance. If the rumored jealousy angle is even partly true, then Reynolds' comedic quips might be an elaborate form of deflection. One unnamed source told Page Six that Reynolds' presence on set was tense at best, especially once he allegedly realized how potent the chemistry was between Baldoni and Lively during their emotional dance sequence. True or not, it's absolutely cinematic to imagine two real-life superstar spouses butting heads with an unassuming director, culminating in a meltdown of epic proportions.
I mean, that's not authorship. That's not autonomy. That's control. That's selfishness. That's entitlement. This woman is a monster.
So, where do we go from here? And what does this mean for the future of It Ends With Us? For starters, it means depositions are on the horizon, ones that are bound to reveal a trove of behind-the-scenes drama. Friedman is apparently locked and loaded with evidence that Lively was micromanaging everything, from rewriting lines to sneaking in her own editors, and even orchestrating damaging leaks to major newspapers. Lively's team, on the other hand, is claiming that Baldoni strayed from the original script and forced gratuitous changes, crossing lines of acceptable directorial behavior, though ironically, her own text messages, if they come to light, could undermine those claims. Wayfarer Studios is keeping a cautious distance, but rumors indicate they might consider taking separate legal action against Lively if the leaked stories cost them significant distribution or box office returns. In Hollywood, everyone is watching and waiting. If Lively's next film bombs, studio execs will likely see it as the final nail in her professional coffin. But if it somehow performs spectacularly at the box office, that success might buy her a second chance, or at least a tiny spark of redemption in an industry where money trumps almost everything else. With the stakes higher than ever, the final question remains: has Blake Lively inadvertently orchestrated her own downfall by overreaching in her quest for creative control? Or did she genuinely believe she was fighting the good fight until circumstances spun out of control? And what role did Ryan Reynolds actually play in this fiasco? Supportive husband or unseen puppet master? There's no shortage of theories, folks. And the tension is so thick you could carve it with a steak knife. One thing's for sure, as soon as Lively takes that deposition chair, we're bound to see a flurry of revelations that will either confirm our worst suspicions or turn the entire narrative on its head. It's a classic Tinseltown cliffhanger that even the best scriptwriters couldn't conjure up on their wildest days. But before you go forming a final verdict, remember, half of Hollywood's intrigue thrives on rumor and speculation, and we don't have a final court ruling just yet. Still, the repeated denials of Lively's legal motions, especially the gag order, send a loud and clear message from the bench. You can't muzzle the other side once you've opened the media floodgates yourself. Fans, tabloids, and industry. Insiders are chattering nonstop, dissecting every piece of alleged evidence and scrutinizing Lively's every move. Will the once adored star survive this onslaught, or will this be her swan song in a ruthless industry always hungry for its next? Scandal? The clock is ticking and the suspense is off the charts. Finally, dear viewers, we want your take on this Hollywood hurricane. Is Blake Lively truly the mastermind behind this behind-the-scenes coup d'etat, or is Justin Baldoni the one trying to spin the narrative? Could Ryan Reynolds be the real puppet master lurking in the shadows, or is this an unfortunate misunderstanding that escalated beyond control? Drop your theories in the comments below. We want to hear from you. Be sure to smash that like button if today's expose rocked your world, and subscribe for more deep dives into the most outrageous Hollywood drama. Oh, and don't forget to ring that notification bell, because this legal whirlwind is far from over, and we'll be here to spill the tea the moment the next bombshell drops. Until next time, keep your popcorn handy, because in the realm of celebrity scandals, there's always a fresh plot twist waiting to explode. Stay curious, stay skeptical, and most of all, stay tuned.